Thank you for joining us. Our today's class will focus on production. What is production? Production is a process of value addition, which is developed to transform a set of inputs elements like man, raw material, capital, energy, information into finished product and services in proper quality and quantity. In other words, production is a process of combining various inputs such as machine, man, material, and money in order to make something for consumption, which is based on product and services. We can also look at the significant area of production. The value added in production can be transform raw material into goods, assemble many small parts, or design a services. Production can be seen every day in factories, offices, hospitals, and etc. Production can be agriculture, manufacturing, or services. These are the most significant area of production. What are the factors of production? There are various factors of production. The most important to be considered are nature, labor, capital, and enterprise. We are going to look at each and every one of these factors and underline them. What are exactly they are referred to? Nature is a very important factor for any production. It is impossible to carry out production without land, water, and other resources. Suitable land and the availability of water make production easier. Let's take an example with natural resources, such as oil. Oil can be extracted from the land and refined for production purpose and consumption, such as cultivation of crops and land. Cultivations of crops and land by farmers increases its value and utility. And let's look at the water too. It's used for processing, drinking, and sanitary purpose within the production site. Depending upon the nature of the plant, water should be available in adequate quantity and proper quality. Let's look at the number 2, which is labor. Labor we may consider it as a human effort. It's a necessary factor for production. It's also skilled. Labor can make a significant differences in any production. And another important factor that influences plant location decision is available of labor near factory. Let's look at the labor in other direction. Labor by an uneducated and untrained workers is generally paid at a low wages. Skilled and trained workers are referred to as human capital, and they are get paid at higher wages because they bring more than their physical capacity to the workplace. While higher skilled labor for their specific work increase the productivity of the production unit. And let's look at the capital. Capital generally refers to money, but money is not a factor of production because money is not a direct involved with the production of products or services. Money is used as a resource to buy capital goods like machine, equipment, raw material, and etc. It is important to distinguish between private capital and personal capital. Let's take an example. Buying a car for a person use and family transport is not considered capital. However, buying a vehicle for commercial uses considered as capital. Another example, let's look at during financial crisis, for instance. When they suffer losses, companies cut back on the capital expenditure to ensure profits. And during period of economic expansion, they invest in capital to purchase machineries and equipment to bring new product to market. Let's look at the item number 4, which is enterprise. Enterprise is the activities that combines all the other factors of production into a product or services for the consumer market. Enterprise as a function involves in organized other factors like applying government rules and regulation, working discipline within the production site, etc. A good management team is greatly benefited in every business enterprise. These are the significant factors of production. Let's look at the issue related to types of production. There are four main types of production that are generally employed. Number one, unit or job type production. 2, batch production. 3, mass production. And 4, continuous production or process production. Let's discuss each separately so that we can have the understanding of each type of production. Unit or job type production is most commonly observed when you need to purchase one single unit of a product at a time. A typical example of job production is tailored outfit that are made just for you according to your size. We can also consider a cake baker, a cake that is being made just like you want. Such type of production is depend a lot on the skills of worker. Dependency is more on manual work than mechanical work because every production is different from others. Customer service play an important role in unit of job production. Let's look at the batch production. Batch production most commonly used in consumer durables. Such industry where there are a large variety of products being manufactured with a variable demand. Batch production takes place in batches. The manufacturer needs to know the number of units he has to manufacture, and they are manufactured in one batch. Batch production is done in batches as discussed previously. So once a batch production starts stopping, the process midway may cause a huge amount to the company lost. Demand and supply played a major role in batch production. For example, the production of seasonality of products heavily depends on the demand. Mass production is also known as a flow production or assembly line production. This is one of the most common type of production system used in automobile industry, and it's also used in an industry where continual productions is required. In mass production, market demand does not play a major role in mass production. However, the production capacity of the company determines the success of mass production. Mass production requires a huge initial investment and working capital. Let's look at the last part of it, which is continuous production or process production. There is a lot of similarities between mass production and continuous production. It can be differentiated by the amount of mechanical work involved. In mass production, both mechanic and machineries and human works together. But in continuous production, most of the work is done by machines rather than human. And let's look at the implication of this continuous production or process production. Once production started, you cannot stop. Otherwise, it will lead to a huge loss. So, a controlled environment is required for continuous production. These are the most significant areas of production that we need to know. For example, if you link it to Islamic financial analysis, you realize that the Islamic financial analysis has no objection on the stated production we made. But what Islamic financial analysis is more concerned on, the product should be Sharia compliant.